Hey there, friends and family. It's Dan. I'm here with the podcast, the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. It is a beautiful Sunday. It is October 6th, 2024. Imagine, if you will, Vincent Price. He's going, ookie spooky podcast. And he's ookie spooky. And also I'm gay. I don't know if I'll cut that. I'll probably keep it. I'm racy today. Joined here by my fellow co-host, who's completely nude and has COVID. Adam, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Dan, what's up, man? It's doing good. It is a great Sunday. I'm glad to be here. It's the spooky ookiest of the year, actually.
Who's that? What's that? I hear it's Joey from Kentucky.
That's right. I'm here. And I am clothed for now.
You'll be nude, red, and mad by the end of this podcast.
Or at least mad and nude, that's for sure.
Adam, this is a new configuration, is it not?
Oh, it certainly is, Dan. I assume you're talking about our lineup today.
Yeah, what do we call this? What do we call the three amigos?
The tripartite of voodoo.
Nice. I was going to go with like the Memphis 3.
East Memphis 3.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
It's gonna be Kentucky based. Where's Memphis? It's Tennessee.
Okay. We could be the Golden Triangle. That is the space that makes the triangle of Lexington, Louisville, and Frankfurt, where at one time at least most of the economy was, but it's spreading out now. But I still let anybody know that if they're
dude, this is the Golden Triangle. People will think it's a P thing, but it's not.
No, it could be, but we're early. Just starting.
Hey folks, I got a new sampler. That's what's going on with me. I got a brand new sampler. Adam's getting his sampler back. Adam, your sampler's coming home. How do you feel about that?
I feel like John Denver, man. Take me home, sampling roads. No, that's exciting. I'm sure I'll get a lot of use out of it as I was before I loaned it back to you.
Yeah, I hope so. Maybe we'll finally sit down and get really into recording stuff into it. We'll see. But yeah, I don't have my normal sample bank this week, folks. I don't have anything normal this week. It's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind week. How's your week been? What have you guys been up to? I know Adam's had COVID.
Well, as for me, as for Joey, my week has been up to nothing, just working. Doing Sober October with friends, so I'm bored now, and not being productive. At least I was drunk and unproductive, and I had an excuse. But we are prepping to go to Universal next week. Hopefully no hurricanes. One's set to hit Wednesday, so rest in peace, me, possibly.
Jesus fucking... I heard about that. Yeah, you guys got walloped, man. That's what happened this week. Did you see a lot of... Your town wasn't affected, right? You don't have to name your town, but...
No, we're pretty north. I mean, we're in Kentucky, of course, so we're not near Appalachia. I am in the Golden Triangle, as I told you. But my sister was without power for like 4 days. I mean, she's way out in the country on a farm, but it affected people here, not nearly as bad. But I mean, like, I don't know. Hopefully North Carolina doesn't get any more rain, but we'll see.
Kentucky didn't get hit by a hurricane, right? It got hit by a tropical storm.
I don't even know if it was a storm at that point. It was just a bunch of water and wind.
We don't see that here. I can't imagine. Can you? I don't think it's possible, really, under current circumstances. But can you imagine a hurricane fucking slamming into like California?
I mean, to be fair, Arizona could use the water.
True.
We would kill all of us immediately.
Yeah, we'd all be too waterlogged in this dry state. It's like if you get water on a really dry old piece of paper, it just immediately crumbles.
Everyone would have to buy a new car because our cars would be underwater. None of the stuff out here is built to withstand any sort of torrential downpour. It barely rains out here and everything's flooded. All right, Jesus. Tough crowd.
Thank God for editing.
Let's get into this fucking movie. Let's get into this spooky movie we fucking watched. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. This week we watched what movie, Adam?
Well, I believe that was the Serpent and the Rainbow, Dan.
I believe that was directed by Wes Craven.
Starring Bill Pullman.
From Wes Craven, director of A Nightmare on Elm Street, comes a story of the forbidden world between life and death.
No! There's a door to the mystical, and you just walk through it.
Somebody brought him back from the grave, and I want to know how they did it.
Death is not the end.
I'll take your soul.
You think you can take these people's secrets and just walk away?
In the shadows of the imagination lies the ultimate nightmare.
Don't let them bury me. I'm not dead.
The Serpent and the Rainbow.
The Serpent and the Rainbow was released on February 5th, 1988. Adam, why did you pick The Serpent and the Rainbow for our first spooky pick of the season?
Yeah, I like spooky movies, and I didn't want to. I'm not great at having friends, so I don't have people throwing at me all these like random cool suggestions for movies. So I had to kind of look up something that maybe I hadn't heard of before.
This guy.
He must be dead.
That's 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3 of us have had problems today now.
Cursed podcast. Maybe there is something to this voodoo shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say shit.
Well, actually, mine was just because I'm fucking stupid. I didn't have a button pressed.
I'm still not sure what Adam's issue is. I think it's internet based. Not sure.
Should we keep recording this part?
Yeah, we're gonna have to reclap real quick, but yeah. Adam will have to re-explain his Bill Pullman story. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, now you go. Bill Pullman, no friends.
Yeah, you know me. I'm Bill Pullman. I ain't got no friends, but the cover for this movie, the poster, the cover, it just jumped out to me. Like I love that Bill Pullman sitting there screaming from inside a coffin. He's got that ghostly face, the cross on his head. I truly did judge a book by its cover for picking this one.
Yeah, I've never seen it myself. It's Wes Craven. Let's talk about that. What's your guys' history with Mr. Wes Craven? Obviously, I have seen Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes. I've seen A Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen Deadly Friend. And now I've seen this movie. I really haven't seen Scream. I did see Wes Craven's New Nightmare is fucking garbage. My Soul to Take was fucking garbage too from 2010. Not sure about Red Eye. What are your guys' thoughts on Mr. Wes Craven? We'll start with Adam.
Yeah, so similarly, Nightmare on Elm Street. I think I saw that when I was way too young, and then Scream 1 and 2, and then the movie that came right after this one, Shocker. I didn't know that was a Wes Craven movie. I watched that late night. I was a little kid, and yeah, Wes Craven. That name just cemented for me. And I think a lot of people, for everybody, really, he's the horror guy. There's real good horror movies.
That's true. Joey, what about you? What about you? Lay it down. Lay it down on the streets.
Yeah.
What do you think about Wes Craven?
Fantastic. I mean, he's on that Mount Rushmore for with John Carpenter. You know, that's 1A, 1B for a lot of people, and I don't have any problem with that. As far as his filmography, I've seen, you know, most, like you said, Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, Swamp Thing, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hills Have Eyes 2, Deadly Friend, blah, 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 Shocker, People Under the Stairs, New Nightmare, All the Screams. You know, there's a couple things I've missed, but I need to go back and fill those gaps now that I'm looking at them. I think the first Wes Craven film I actually saw was not Nightmare, but Deadly Friend when I was somewhere around 11, 10, and a buddy of mine made me watch it. You know, I was not a horror kid at all, and I eventually got into that. I was older. But I remember watching Deadly Friend, and when the Goonies mom / throw mama from the train, I forget her name, got her head busted open with a basketball, and that was crazy. So, impressions at a young age.
I love Deadly Friend. Yeah. It's a weird one. It's very 80s.
Yeah, it's one of a kind. Isn't there an alternate cut of that?
It wasn't on the Scream Factory release.
There is an alternate cut of Serpent and the Rainbow that was 3 hours long, supposedly, and got trimmed down to the 98 minutes we got. I'd be interested to see that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I really like Wes Craven. I don't know if I said this on the podcast necessarily. Maybe I did, but one of the things that made me really like respect and like really be like, oh wow, Wes Craven's like a smart guy. Like it's someone like I would love to hang out with Wes Craven. I know he's dead now, but rest in peace. I would have loved to have hung out with Wes Craven because he seemed like an intellectual. And when I went through the Last House on the Left Blu-ray from Arrow, and I went through like almost all the extras on there, I just listened to Wes Craven talk about it, and he just sounded so like thoughtful, and like he explained exactly all of his reasonings for like, oh, I wanted to make it like a documentary. That's why it's so like fucking grimy. And like when you watch that movie and you're like, oh, it's a documentary, it's like it takes on a different feel. I don't know. For whatever reason, listening to that interview bit from him talk about that movie, I was just like, damn, this guy's smart and cool. So I like Wes Craven a lot. I don't think... I know you said he's one of the greats. I think he's pretty hit or miss. He has some hits, but he's got some not hits too, or just stuff I've not seen. Like to be honest with you, I guess
we'll go there for a minute.
I've never seen The People Under the Stairs.
You would love that. You know, Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, number 1 and 2 on his resume. I mean, those are pretty hard hitting. That went some places that, you know, people weren't going, especially Last House on the Left, and that's even before what Texas Chainsaw was 75. There was a 74, 73, I forget, and then Halloween 78 to launch the modern slasher. Swamp Thing, pretty awesome. Nightmare on Elm Street, pretty great. I mean, yeah, I get it. Not everything is great that he does, but he's worth being talked about. All these movies are very watchable that I've seen. And then, of course, that's not even to talk about Scream and, you know, what comes from there.
And I guess you couldn't even really call him like a journeyman or anything, because he just does horror movies. He's like a horror guy.
Yeah. And it's funny.
I don't see a non-horror movie on here.
You were talking about
Music of the Heart.
Music of the Heart. That's like this very big standout non-horror film of his, I think.
What are you saying, Joey?
I was going to say I agree that I would like to hang out with him. He does seem like a very sweet man when you hear him talk, and pretty much everyone that works with him seems to have universal renown for him. So,
yeah, and I'd never seen this movie before, The Serpent and the Rainbow. He directed this after Deadly Friend. So after Deadly Friend, he probably immediately went in production on this one for Universal. This would be the first of 3 Universal pictures he would make. After this would be Shocker and The People Under the Stairs. I guess R.I.P. man. He passed away in 2015. Did you guys watch My Soul to Take?
Negative.
No.
Did you guys watch Scream 4?
Yes.
I think I missed that one.
Is Scream 4 worth... I didn't even realize he directed Scream 4. Is that worth watching?
Sure, why not? I mean, if you've watched the other ones, why wouldn't you watch that?
I didn't realize he did Scream 3. I didn't realize he kept doing that. I thought he just did like the first Scream. That's crazy. All right. Wes Craven. Serpent the Rainbow. Bill Pullman. Adam, when was the last time we talked about Bill Pullman?
Man, I think that would be back in Lost Highway, right?
Our first released episode. Bill Pullman was in Lost Highway from 1997.
Yep.
Yeah, so he did this quite a few years before that, I would say. I would argue. He had just done Spaceballs. I have not seen Spaceballs, but this is directly after Spaceballs.
Can't believe you'd said that out loud.
I'm not a comedy guy.
Yeah, that's
We can
pretty.
Oh, I love when he said major star balls. Oh,
Pizza the Hut? Come on, man. Eat yourself to death? Spoiler.
now that it's time for the spooky season, everyone's rotting their teeth with candy, and they're going door to door. Do you guys know much about voodoo? Do you guys know about Haitian voodoo?
No.
Voodoo, you voodoo, bitch.
Well, I listened to a podcast and I have read a couple Wikipedia pages, so I am pretty much an expert by Twitter means, you know.
You're the expert on this podcast, so don't sell yourself short.
Okay, all right. I mean, not really. I don't know a bunch. I could sit here to read the pages, but I mean, you know, I think everybody kind of knows where the zombie mythos comes out of that. With voodoo being like exclusive to Haiti, as in Santeria being exclusive to Cuba, I think. All based off of this mix of African traditions melding with a lot of Roman Catholicism. I was reading like most Haitians that did practice voodoo did typically seem to be Catholics, but also Protestants or even Mormons. So there was always this Christianity overlap. And like with most things with Christianity, you know, they adapted stuff just like the saints were adapted and things were adapted when it spread over to Ireland, England, etc. And not to get too much into it, because there's not a lot of accuracy with the Haitian voodoo or Vodou, which I don't know if Dr. Emily Zarka, that I heard talk about this on a podcast called Monsters Among Us, Night at the Round Table. And she is a host of a PBS show called Monstrum. So she has a educational background on all types of folklore like this and did not find the voodoo to be very accurate. But the whole thing here with this movie was based off a book by Wade Davis of the same name. And obviously the Wade Davis book he's an anthropologist, was not like a thrilling Indiana Jones meets zombies in Haiti deal. It was more...
He was a turned up white boy.
Mm.
No.
But I mean, the history of voodoo, that's its whole other thing. I posted a Vice documentary from like 2017 or something, where a guy goes and like looks for that. It's
Hamilton Morris. You didn't watch that, right, Adam? We've watched it before, probably.
Yeah, I think we'd seen that before.
Yeah, Hamilton Morris used to do like a drug cornucopia encyclopedia thing. Yeah, that was cool. Very 2014 or whatever. Also, like I'll say right now, anything about the Haitian voodoo stuff in this movie, I'm just like, this seems a little racist. I'm just gonna say it.
Well,
I'm glad someone said it.
She was talking about Dr. Emily Zarko, when she was on that podcast, was talking about like, you know, there are certain things that are accurate, and just my basic reading of it, it's like, you know, zombies aren't like for the most part, it's supposed to be like afterlife and not like actual body, but like the spirit was taken as prisoner and like kept in vessels. So that end scene, you know, where like the spirits are getting released, I guess that would be somewhat kind of accurate. But then the other flip side would be the actual human zombie enslavement. And Wade Davis makes that argument in his book, I guess, that's more of a thing. I don't know. There's the famous story. What is the guy's name? I had it pulled up. But there was a famous story about a guy who supposedly was zombified with the tetrodotoxin. I think that's what it's called. Tetrodotoxin. Anyway, the powder stuff. And he became, you know, a slave for these guys for years. everybody thought he was dead. And then when all those people died, the drug got out of his system and he came back and people found him. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I guess I should at least have the guy's name.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's the story you hear every time, which it's the story that Wade Davis like based his research on, which is like they found some like homeless guy and they're like, hey, this guy was buried like 12 years ago.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how any of that works. I would want some more scientific research into that.
Yeah. Clairvius Narcissi or something like that. That was the guy's name.
That's a wonderful name. The name fit for a voodoo zombie. I think the idea is right. This powder puts you into like a deep sleep kind of deal, where like your breathing is suppressed, your heart rate is suppressed. The only thing that's not suppressed is like your brain.
Yeah,
so you can feel.
And for a little, I don't know what word I would use for it, but after this movie I threw on, it just happened to be playing on like the HBO Live, Law Abiding Citizen, that great art film. And have either of you guys seen that movie?
Hell yeah, I have.
So the whole gimmick is that, he gets this guy that murdered his family, he ties him up, injects him with a toxin. What did we call it again? Tetrodotoxin or something.
Tetrodotoxin? Yeah,
and like the whole thing is like, oh, he can't move, he can't speak, but he can see and feel everything as he's on that tortured. Oxen. He's on that oxen, hell yeah.
He's on that galaxy gas.
I remember I jumped up out of like excitement because I was like, oh, I just watched a movie that was about this shit. And yeah, audience, if you want to get a nice demonstration, go watch the opening of that movie with your family.
And then watch the rest of it because it's sick. And then watch Gamer after it.
Hell yeah.
I don't. Do you guys think? Let's just ask outright. Do you guys think Haitian zombies are a thing? Is that real? Because like the thing is, like Wade Davis went out there. It's this movie. He went out there. He got the powder. He each made. I mean, one thing in the movie, production here. Apparently, this movie, the plot takes place over 10 years. That did not get across to me.
It seemed like it was supposed to be like 3 months. Like that scene where he flies in the airplane. That seems pretty immediate that he's coming back.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression. Maybe that's where we lost in the 3-hour cut.
Well, that's the Wade Davis story too, because like he had to gain the trust of people for several years. It wasn't just like he flew down there. It was like, yo, I'm a really cool guy. I'll give you this stuff, even though you're not gonna pay me.
I mean, I think the zombie thing probably exists to some extent. Obviously, I don't know about the mind control, but people are susceptible to it. In the whole trance state, and like the dancers in this movie, when they're going into the trance state, supposedly were real practitioners of voodoo. And the idea, I think, is that like I think it's called Iwa or Iwa, but the equivalent of what would be angels, lesser gods or whatever. Because Haitian voodoo is monotheistic, they still think it's like the same Christian god in a way, I guess. And they would be like possessed, by their specific angels or whatever else. And supposedly those people in the movie were, doing the actual ceremony stuff. Like, I do think people can easily get under, influential states. Hypnosis is a thing. For some people, it definitely works. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so, people getting into, we wouldn't have called it a possessed state, but being filled with the Spirit of God. That's what these people are thinking. They're being filled with the spirit of angels for practical sense. So, I mean, it definitely occurs in that medium. Is it real or not? I mean, if they think it is, I guess it is, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think, Adam? Oh.
Well, yeah, no, I especially think it's interesting. Yeah, like there's a funeral procession during this movie, and they have the Mother Mary. A lot of and it's this very beautiful shot where you just see it going up all the way down the street, and yeah, from like such a Western mind, I see that, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. I thought they were voodoo, and it's like it's voodoo, Christianity. It's not necessarily going to be, one doesn't cancel out the other. Like you hear this around the world, like Buddhists who also retain Christian beliefs and such. I thought that was interesting.
I mean, that whole, it's invaded our shores in New Orleans, right? That whole area is like very much a vibe like you had in this. Like, I think that the movie, while, we can argue whether it's racist or not, it was definitely exploitive of the people, right? But it did have that grimy vibe that like New Orleans has. And it's a vibe I dig, but it's very creepy. And it's like, I don't know, just the idea of all these corpses being buried under like a foot of dirt and being buried alive, and the smells and the things like that you would encounter in a place that's so hot and humid, and just livestock are running around the streets, and people are angry because like at the time I guess they were on, I don't know if they were on the verge or during the Civil War in Haiti, but there was a lot of unrest. I mean, I know the crew was told they couldn't be guaranteed their safety, and they eventually went to the Dominican Republic instead to film. So that whole, I don't know, that whole vibe of tension, I think, comes through really well in that whole movie.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Haitian Civil War, I have to say.
Oh, I don't either, but they've always had issues with, I mean, Haiti was a slave colony, right? Mm-hmm. And then I forget the guy's name, but the leader was, pretty authoritarian. I don't know how democratic Haiti's ever been. It's been a hot button issue here with, back to, what was the big earthquake that like leveled almost everything? Was that like 12 years ago?
2010.
Yeah. So it's been a rough ride for the Haitians. And even a rough ride right now for some Haitians in our country.
Bro, almost 250,000 people died in that earthquake.
That's insane,
It's a few people.
So, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can go into. As far as just the movie on its own, though, I really liked most stuff about it.
The dictator was named Francois Duvalier.
There you go.
What are you saying, Adam?
I thought there was a conspicuous lack of dogs and cats being eaten in this movie. I've been told that's part of Haitian culture. I don't know if I can trust this movie anymore.
Poor Haitians. No matter where they go.
All right, we got to take it. We got to take this away from Dan.
I don't know where anything's at. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm not eating cats and dogs. I'm not accusing you of doing that. I would never do that.
Speaking of cats, how did you feel about Bill Pullman getting to play with a jaguar? Or is that a cheetah? Which one?
That's like my one note for this movie, literally. I'm bad at taking notes, but my one note was, I want to frolic with a big cat.
When he first started frolicking, though, I yelled at the screen, "We don't play with hands," because the hand's getting too close to the face there.
Yeah, it was crazy. He's like, "Oh, I'll pet you, buddy," and I was like, I'd still be horrified.
Yeah, no way, dude. I mean, my cat scares the shit out of me when he really gets going, and he's like 12 pounds.
Luckily, they're tiny. This movie opens with a black screen with writing, and it says, "In the legends of voodoo, the serpent is a symbol of earth. The rainbow is a symbol of heaven. Between the two, all creatures must live and die. But because he has a soul, man can be trapped in a terrible place where death is only the beginning." How do you guys think that relates to the movie?
Well, I mean, that whole dying and being a zombie slave, or having your soul trapped in a bottle, I guess.
This movie goes fucking crazy. We'll get into that Bill Pullman, our boy Bill Pullman, he's tasked with going to the Arctic. No, he's tasked with going to fucking Haiti.
Haitian.
To get this Haitian, yeah, to get this miracle drug, because they want to, the corporate. I don't know how, like, I don't know, because even Bill Pullman at one point's like, yeah, I want to use it to help people. That's right. But they want to get, they want to make a drug based off this Haitian voodoo shit, so that way they can use it in surgeries, because they're like, like 20,000 people a year die during anesthetic shock. We could save them if we have this Haitian voodoo shit. And so he's like, yeah, I'll go. And he goes out there and he immediately gets in trouble with like the local government. You got like a warlord guy.
Yeah, the Dargent Petrol. I don't know. I don't feel like the names were said enough for me to remember any of them.
Petrad. Something like it's a bunch of French sounding names,
Yeah,
right?
which, like, I mean, English is hard enough for me. I have friends. We can't even say Versailles. We say Versailles here, so don't get mad at me.
We have Marielle Duchamp, played by Cathy Tyson. I don't know anybody in this movie. I'm going to be honest with you. The only person I recognize is Bill Pullman. The entire cast list.
Yeah, the Haitians in this movie really felt. I don't know what a Haitian looks and sounds like necessarily. But after watching this, I'm like, oh, it's like that. Very unrecognizable to me, and like, yeah, that just really added to the allure of like, okay, so this does feel like a movie set in Haiti.
I grew up with a kid who is from Haiti. He came here pretty early, so he didn't have an accent, but his auntie or his mom, I'm not sure. I think she was just his aunt. She was like a teacher's aide. So like, she sounded like these people. So that's my only real interaction, but it was familiar. Still didn't make it necessarily any easier. But remembering the names or saying the names, sorry guys, if we get it wrong, you'll know who we talk about from context, I guess.
I'm just referring to characters. I'm going to be like, that guy, the cool guy that makes the mixture.
Well, we got our like pretty much 6 main characters. Bill, obviously playing Dennis. Cathy Tyson playing Marielle Duchamp. Mary, which I think they just call her. And then, the evil dude, the priest that's helping him, the Lucien Céline guy or whatever. And then I guess the OG zombie, Christopher, and another guy, Louis, which I guess was the driver that helped him that ends up getting killed. Everybody else doesn't matter.
Yeah, sadly. I like when the movie opens with like a bunch of weird like dream sequences. I like that a lot. I like the dream sequences in this movie. That was the best part. I'm the meme with the photo of Brendan Fraser at the restaurant. He's like, I like the steak. It was my best part. It was the best part. It was my favorite part. That's me right now. The dream sequences were my favorite part. Were you guys engaged by this movie? Because I was really bored by this movie.
I did fall asleep, but I was very tired. So I did have to wake up and rewatch the second half. But I was engaged. I liked it. I thought, 'cause we go through like the I don't know if you want to talk about the full movie first and then give all the thoughts.
Whatever.
I was engaged. I felt it was... Well, I guess probably part of this is because of the voiceovers and stuff. I felt like this could have been a Quantum Leap episode or something, a little bit shorter, but he jumps into an unfamiliar place and is trying to help. And I know there's like the white savior trope and the cursed episode on this show. Cathy Tyson, who played Mary, was talking about that, but she talked about how she did think Bill was like the best cast person for this role. As if they would have made it now, he'd probably be a black guy, probably a Haitian American or something. That would be the role. That would make sense, right? It would help make things work a little better. He could still be the outsider and the insider. But she had great things to say about him and how he treated people on the set. So I thought it was interesting. I liked his character. I thought it did. He was very much a Sam Beckett a la Quantum Leap, trying to do the right thing, also getting romantically involved when he shouldn't. But I did fall asleep. So
Yeah, I fell asleep watching this.
I think something I liked about Bill Pullman's character was like his just overly cynical. He was like he's the cynical Westerner coming in. Like he didn't buy any of this hoodoo on his way in. I really like his dismissal of a lot of things people have to say about voodoo this and voodoo that. His goal is like he's like, I'm here to get the powder. Even his bosses are like, we're not here for magic. We're here for drugs. And I don't know what is that like maybe like an old school. I don't even know if old school would be the right word for it, but thinking like 50s movies where they have, a white professor or a white adventurer, or a white anthropologist going into the Amazon, going into the wild, going where the savages were. And I don't have any profound thoughts on that. Just that was a lot of fun. You don't get this, like you said, like nowadays it would be like a Haitian American, but I do like this, I don't know, kind of like the old exploitation way of doing things, of having like a white guy into this scary world where he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's running around grabbing at people's shirts. He's like, you have to help me. Like ripping a guy's shirt off.
Well, the thing I did really like about this is like, because there were a few like action scenes, if you want to call them that, like when he goes to his hotel and like he sees a shadow of a man, a silhouette of a machete, and he jumps out the window and jumps off his balcony and onto a truck and down a run. And it wasn't like some fantastical, crazy supercut thing. It was just, like you would see of the time.
In a Hong Kong movie?
Yeah, there you go.
Turned into a Hong Kong.
For a small, as Hong Kong as an unathletic white man can be, but he did a pretty good job, I thought, on that. And overall, I like that vibe. It does get a little heavy-handed at the end, like with the white savior stuff. But I think it feeds in well with like all the dream sequence stuff. I really enjoy that at the very end when he goes back on the plane and he meets up with Lucian, I guess his name was, the voodoo priest who was kind of like, the guy who was, we're in it together now. And he does like some ritual and paints some crosses on his face, and and he's like, I think he said something along the lines of the protection in Haiti, and Dennis, Bill's character replies, well, I haven't felt very protected ever since I've been here. And he's like, well, you don't know what hasn't got to you yet. And that's when shit gets crazy. They walk outside, and then immediately, I guess, our baddie, D'Argent Petrol, psychically chokes the man to death, and he dies, and a scorpion comes out of his mouth, which that death scene was played so well. That guy died amazingly well. It was pretty scary, it's just from how well he sold it. And then we go, and the guy runs up to Dennis and blows the powder in his face, and we're on a fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was like super campy, because like the guy's like, you'll never know what's gonna happen, you better watch your back, and then immediately chokes to death, and then immediately a guy runs up and like blows dust or powder in this dude's face. Like everything just happens so quickly.
My question is like this whole sequence, like how much of that even happened? Like after, any of it, I guess we're supposed to think he choked to death in the powder, but from the powder, and he's running around and he's choking, he passes out and he wakes up in a coffin theoretically, and then all the supernatural stuff happens. He somehow is able to control stuff, and our baddie catches on fire at one point, which was a great burn scene, I thought, and the effects were really good on that. Him getting tied back to the chair, I guess through Dennis's own psychic powers that he seems to have now in this fever dream. I just really liked that part, though. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Why? What is going on? Am I supposed to believe this is real?" And then the second time, I was like, "Oh, I think this is all just, a battle of the mind." They even say that. They say it right there. It's going to be in your mind, So,
are we to believe that D'Argent Petrad did he nail Bill Pullman's balls or something? Did he drive a nail through his balls?
He just got the scrotum, were Bill Pullman's words.
Really?
So
Okay,
that's the ball sack, my friend.
Oh my!
Am I correct? I don't know.
That's what I think
is
is right. I think you're right there, Adam.
He's like, it was 3 hard days afterwards, but she took care of me, nursed me back to health. I'm like, what did she do? What do you like? Oh, dude, I've nicked my balls before with like a razor, and they're hurt really bad.
You know, we mentioned the powder blowing scene. We were talking about that, where Bill Pullman gets that powder blown in his face, and I just got such Midsummer vibes from that, Dan. Immediately I was like, oh yes, like I don't know, I love a good powder scene, getting blown into someone's face, and it turns out it's a drug, and they're all fucked up now.
I also
You
got
started
some
freaking out.
I got some Shiva Final Fantasy vibes too, like, you know, in 10 where she blows like the ice off her hand and then snaps her fingers. No one. Okay.
Oh, I know Adam's played Final Fantasy.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of stuff happens in this movie. I like his friend. I like the guy who makes the powder. He's like so cool.
Oh, we got that Mozart. That's
Is his name? Yeah,
yeah.
Louis Mozart. I was sad when he died.
Louis Mozart.
He just got his head chopped off.
Yeah, he didn't even get to use his watch for too long. Or maybe he did. Maybe he had that watch for like 7 years, and that was the gap.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the preceding scene, I guess, which puts him back on the plane, is when he has dinner with, I guess, the people at the university or whatever, or the hospital. And the one lady gets possessed and starts eating the fucking glass.
Yeah, that was cool. Because earlier in the movie, you see the woman or the guy, maybe the guy eating glass. I think it's a guy eating glass at the beginning. And so she just randomly, in the middle of talking, starts eating her glass. And she's like, I'm going to kill you. And she grabs a knife, jumps over the table, like slashes at his face. That was cool. That was like one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Very horror.
I do.
Like possession, you know? Haitian voodoo possession, but like in a horror movie.
I think that this movie falters a bunch at the beginning of that second act. It just kind of doesn't keep its pace as well, because there are some really good set pieces. That, and then going into, I think the whole end of the movie is fun. I mean, I don't know how everybody else felt about it. It abruptly ends, but I that whole end sequence I thought was pretty cool. Very 80s, very Wes Craven, you know.
Oh yeah, it's great. We get to see Petrard like fly across out of nowhere at Bill Pullman at some point when this movie turns into like an action film at the end. Yeah, it was very, very fun. I was like, damn, they don't do this anymore. Just going for it of like, this could be funny in the wrong, you know, if you're looking at it from the wrong angle.
Well, the makeup effects are great too on Dargent, like the after he gets burned.
Oh yeah, his burn makeup, yeah, for sure.
And his screams, like, because like he's so burned and like his lips are withered back and his teeth are so white and he's getting dragged down to the lower level to hell or whatever you want to say. I thought that was a very effective scene. He did a great job. I actually thought he was a different actor than another movie I saw. He wasn't, but he plays. I don't know. I mean, if that guy came up to you and started smiling at you and saying some shit, you'd be like, I think I'm gonna leave. You know, I wouldn't stick around.
Famous South African stage and screen actor Zakes Mokae. So sorry. He's from Johannesburg. I've not seen any of the movies he's been in. He was in Dust Devil, directed by Richard Stanley.
Oh.
Yeah. I've seen Body Parts. I don't remember him in it. Body Parts is a good movie you all should definitely check out. Early 90s. In short, like, this guy gets put together by he was like in a major crash and he gets donated all his body parts from a serial killer and they take over his body. It's pretty wild.
Which one was that? Body Parts?
Body Parts. Must see.
Oh,
I've seen that poster before.
it looks like he was also in Wes Craven's other film, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen.
I've not seen that either.
I have not seen Vampire in Brooklyn.
Maybe we'll pick that for the first spooky pick of next year to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say about this movie? It has a cool vibe. That's what I'll say. I like the adventure, you know, like you're saying, like not Indiana Jones, but like guy goes into the jungle. It's not necessarily like a cannibal movie.
Right.
But it is like a fun little ride. I do agree the pacing, the structure is weird as shit. You can tell this thing suffered. You can tell there was a 3-hour cut. Now that you say that, because like there's so much voiceover and you're like, oh, this is how they were able to edit it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a
definitely-
lot of voiceover in this.
I'd be interested to see what is left out. Like you'd have to think there's definitely more of getting to see the zombie side. I don't know if I could set to that 3-hour cut and what else would be in it, but I mean that's quite a bit to chop off a movie. Regardless, I mean, you know, most of the time it's a good thing that you get something chopped from 3 hours.
That's literally one half, right? Like this thing's like 90 minutes. So it's like there's another
90. Yeah, it's 98 minutes. So,
goddamn. So some trivia. In an interview, Craven stated that unlike his previous films that had problems with the MPPA, the first cut got an R rating without any problems. The original cut was 184 minutes long, but Craven felt that it was too long and talky, so he cut it down to 98 minutes. It was then test screened to audiences, and their reactions were favorable. But how do you know you didn't test screen the 3-hour cut?
it's very true. Interesting thing about this too is like the budget was what, $7 million, I think it says, and it made 19, almost 20 million, so it tripled its money. And you know, we've seen that today coming with horror movies. You know, small budgets doubling, tripling, quadrupling, even more. And I mean, I think you got your money's worth if you're investing in this.
I'd say they got about 8 million out of it. Because you got to double, in theory, you got to double the budget for advertising, so 14 million. So they made, and then maybe cut it down a little bit. So yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8 million. It's decent. It's what you want with a horror movie for sure.
I need my beans back so I can count them.
I'm trying to think about that though. So like you sink in, so 7 million, that comes from like a bunch of people. Is that how movies work?
That's
come from a company.
We don't need to know that. We are not important enough to even think about their money. Okay, you just do what they say. They, capital THEY, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, some sort of Harvey Weinstein like character. There's some goblin out there shelling out $7 million for your movie.
Regardless, it didn't fail. It didn't like immediately fall off the box office. It did decent enough.
Yeah. I mean, I remember this movie, like seeing previews for it, being, like I said, I was not a horror guy, and I probably remember seeing this title in the horror section, because at the local store, I had to walk past the horror section to get to the video games, right? And so I'd kind of like walk with my back a little bit turned to it, but my looking out of the corner of my eye at the stuff, trying my best to avoid the big cutout of Chucky. Because I had a My Buddy and Me doll, and that motherfucker stayed in the top shelf of my closet after that.
Hell yeah, me too.
I know you moved. I can see that you moved. Why I didn't just ask my mom to put the doll in the garage, I don't know, but I remember that, like you had said earlier about the cover, it is, I think, especially at the time, is very effective. I don't know, just this whole movie. Like to me, I think this movie just like, it's just grimy, and it would smell so bad to be there. Like say, just graves a foot down. You're on the ocean. It's humid, you know, livestock. And just like I can imagine, just like going through the jungle. I've never been anywhere like that tropical. I guess soon I had a Florida trip previously, but that's about as tropical as I've gotten. I can't imagine like actually going and doing an expedition into the jungle, and how terrifying alone that would be, just because of bugs and humidity, much less the people that might kill you because you are trying to exploit the voodoo priest.
The way you describe Haiti is how I would describe Kentucky from my viewpoint. Like they got big bugs. It's humid.
I guess so, but we're not on the sea, and we do bury people deeply, you know. So
There's no voodoo zombies in your neck of the woods?
No, not that I'm aware of. Just meth zombies. So we know how to deal with them. Just take away the meth, and they will either stroke out or they'll go to jail. One of the two.
Oh my god. This movie is a horror film. Did you guys find it horrifying? This is a good pick for being spooky and terrified.
I am claustrophobic, so that aspect, yeah, when he was buried pitch black. I'm not afraid to admit I covered my ears while watching. I just I don't want to think about that. If I think about being buried alive, I might have a panic attack here on the couch.
Really? I thought that scene didn't go on for long enough. I was like, they should do like the Ryan Reynolds buried thing where you're under their flag. I don't know, because like I was saying about the structure of the movie, like once he gets on the plane and has the powder and goes back to America with his, like, basically successfully, there's still like 30 minutes of the movie left. You could have spent some more time in that coffin, and I'm sure that was part of what was cut out, right?
I figure I agree with Adam. And I was having this thought. I was watching it. It's like, because I'm kind of claustrophobic. I used to be a lot more claustrophobic, but not so much anymore. But the idea of being buried alive obviously is terrifying, no matter what. And I thought to myself, maybe horror isn't as effective on me because I don't really try to put myself in the person's position anymore. I'm just the outside observer critiquing and seeing what they're doing right in my eyes, as opposed to like, how would I feel and how would I react? And I think in that sense, it is very good. It is very scary. I think it's a very good movie that you would want to watch maybe late night with a thunderstorm in fall or something like that, with the windows open and you hear the rain and all the lights are off. I think it's very effective then. Like when you're getting on the verge of being tired, and so you're almost in your own little zombie state, and just let the craziness consume you. I think so.
I was horrified. I was shaking in my boots over here. So I agree. No, I'm not afraid of claustrophobia or anything. I did think it was spooky. I like the dream sequences. That's my one takeaway from this movie is I'm like, hey, he's still got it. He's still able to do a cool dream sequence. Too bad New Nightmare sucks.
I like New Nightmare.
One part of this movie that I'd like to bring up, that dinner scene when he starts tripping out a bit and he sees the hand come out of the soup. I was just getting a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street vibes right there. I was like, nice. Is that a callback? Is that a callback to Freddy's hand coming out of the bathtub? But so that was very. I loved all the stuff, like with the arms reaching out of the jail cells later on when he's running through the voodoo bride corpse. Oh, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah, we didn't mention that. That is cool. I like that. Both scenes with her.
And the very original first part where he gets his first, I guess, I don't know if it's ayahuasca or what it's supposed to be, but his own psychedelic experience, and he gets taken down and arms are reaching through the ground as he's going down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love the dream stuff. Dreamy. Dreamy as hell.
And then one part, I guess for me, like getting to like at least the end of the plot, we have like a revolution type of scene happening there at the end, and I don't know. Part of me, I was like, is this whole movie just like an analogy for political turmoil?
They do mention that on the cursed episode of this. And it's said otherwhere too, like talking about, is the zombie just kind of this idea of, slavery that obviously Haitians dealt with through, all of the African people that were brought over, and especially into what we would have called the West Indies, I guess, Dominican Republic, Haiti, all those places, and were enslaved pretty much for, I guess, 400 years, and in a lot of ways, like you say, once you get to the authoritarian, there we go, cut all that. Once we get to the authoritarian state that Haiti was in, then it's like no one's has been a free person for a long time. And a lot of people find when you're oppressed, you find freedom in your religion. And so taking over that narrative, maybe that's part of it too. That's just a wild thought.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. I mean, there's a reason that stuff's included. I agree. I just don't know much to add on to it. I do like the revolution stuff. I'm glad they got to be happy. I'm sure they're happy today, right? In Haiti?
Yeah, everything's fine there.
I don't know anything about Haiti. I'm such a white boy. I'm a turned up white boy. Just like Bill Pullman in this movie at the end where he's like pushing the ghost general warlord guy away. And he's like, I've had just about enough of you.
So I think something good to add also that was in the cursed episode, when they talked about people getting restless, because they were talking about like on there that like most people that were the extras were working like sugarcane, and the average they would maybe make is like $1 a day for working sugarcane. I don't know much about sugarcane, and I've never stripped tobacco, but I know people who have stripped tobacco, and that's a terrible thing also. Fielding any type of crop is not great on a mass industrial scale, pre-machines. So, and they were talking about paying the extras $3 a day, and I guess some may have made more, some may have not, but the idea of just getting to stand around for 3 times your wages, I mean, please sign me up, right? And supposedly, once they started to find out how much the movie cost and things, some of the people there were getting more restless. And I
remember that. Yeah.
I think that was part of the reason they also changed their filming locations at certain times. There was
because they're exploiting these people.
Yeah, and there was a story about, they even admit that there too. There was a story, and I guess it was when the movie was coming together, Lance Anderson was going to do the effects, but then he didn't want to go to Haiti, so he pretty much sent his son, David Anderson, to do it, and it was like his second thing he had ever done. He had worked on a TV show previous, Barnum, a TV movie, and he's telling a story about, the crew and everybody being together and stuff, but when the shit started to hit the fan, that pretty much he just went out of his room, and they got in a van, sped away, and then like got on a plane or a helicopter or whatever. Like, it was a scary
we had to escape.
Yeah, and very much an escape sequence. I think the Cursed is a great. The Cursed episode is definitely worth. If you're going to watch the movie, you should definitely watch the Cursed episode after. 100%.
The Cursed Films episode.
Yeah.
Shudder TV original.
I like that whole series.
Yo. I like Cursed Films a lot. It's really good. I haven't bought the second one on Blu-ray yet. That was my problem why I wasn't able to watch it this time, is because I don't own it. I do own the first season though.
Well, it's on Shudder. If you would just get Shudder.
I know. Shudder's fucking streaming quality is ass. Booty cheeks.
I mean, over here in Kentucky, we got the gigabyte AT&T, so I don't know what's wrong with you guys, but
Yo, Shudder's streaming compression algorithm sucks. Yo.
Now, did you watch the Twilight Zone one, Cursed Films?
Yeah, that one, that's the first season. Yeah, I've watched that first season a few times because I watched it myself and I showed it to my girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't know. I feel like that episode almost had like an impact on like how people view fucking.
Well, I mean, you could rename that "Why Should John Landis Be in Jail?"
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think I ever heard anyone talk about that John Landis shit until that episode came out. Maybe it's just because I wasn't familiar with it, but yeah, it's crazy. Fuck John Landis, but American Werewolf in London's still great. I love that movie.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, people, like on Twilight Zone the movie, John Landis had decided, I guess, to change some special effects around and push people a bit to do it, and the stunt people did not really take into account things they should have, which ended up in an actor and 2 children dying via helicopter crash that was supposed to not kill them. Like the blades literally like cut them in half, I believe.
Famed actor Vic Morrow.
There we go.
And 2 Vietnamese children were butchered by the blades of a helicopter.
Very funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very funny stuff.
This is hilarious. Yo. John Landis sucks.
And his son Max sucks even more.
I'm just trying to find a sound. Okay.
You might have to
Adam.
Sorry. You might have to go back and edit some of these.
Adam, what did you think about this movie, and what would you rate it out of 5 stars?
Yo. My name is Adam, and okay, I was gonna rap and then I lost it. Hold for applause and laughter, and then so like I said, I never heard of this movie, and so picking it, I decided not even to, I watched maybe like a snippet of a trailer, and this was in the time when trailers were they're not fun to watch nowadays. I mean, it's nice to watch from a historical standpoint, I guess, and be like, oh, look how interesting it is that this guy is narrating the entire fucking trailer. But, I really thought, like, despite the fact that, like, if you're watching this movie with a, what do they call that, a problematizing mind, you're going to be like, this movie's racist. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I thought that as a product of its time, it was a lot of fun. Like I said earlier, there are parts of it that did scare the crap out of me. I'm claustrophobic. The action at the end really kind of pulled it up for me, though, where I was just like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And if I were to rate this movie, Daniel, I guess, part of me wants to give it my own personal rating is just one big thumbs up, where I would say, yeah, watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I think everyone should see it. And out of 5 stars, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a 3 out of 5. Not to say that, like I said, I don't think it was bad in any way. I don't think it was amazing. I think it was a real fun watch. And if you like horror films, if you like Bill Pullman, if you like Wes Craven, like obviously this is one you have to put on your repertoire, as they would say. But those are my thoughts on the movie, Dan.
Put me in, coach. That's my music.
Joey, what did you think about this movie, and what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I liked it. This was a movie that was always in the periphery that I had not seen. Eventually, I think for the first time, saw it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It may have even been during the pandemic that I first saw it. And I think this is the 3rd viewing I've had, because I believe I watched it by myself and watched it with my girlfriend at the time. From the poster art itself, which was always creepy, which we talked about a few times, up through the start of the movie and everything encompassing the idea of voodoo and going to a faraway place and having to work against supernatural forces, authoritarian forces, and not knowing what's going to happen. I thought it was pretty enthralling. I liked the movie overall. The racism thing, yeah, I don't know. Exploitive, 100%. No doubt about it. It's not something that I would be proud of if I had worked on financing that. But as a point in time, I think it's a very good movie. It has some very creepy stuff. It has an atmosphere that you don't get these days. I think the direction and cinematography is really good. You don't have a lot of, well, I mean, obviously this is the 80s, so you don't have quick cuts. You don't have too many stinger sounds. You don't have obtrusive soundtracks letting you know something's going to happen. The editing could have been a little better. We get lost a little bit, but overall it's a good experience. I think there's a very creepy factor throughout most of the film. If I was in the guy's shoes, if I did that, I'd be scared out of my wits the whole time. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I would probably give it like 3.75, and I wouldn't be surprised if anybody gave it a 3 or 3.5. Your mileage is going to vary just based on what you like, what you get into. But I thought it's definitely worth a watch. Watch it late night, all the lights off, put your phone away, and really let yourself get embraced by the vibe. Wes Craven, his record speaks for itself. He does a lot of great nods, I think, like we talked about with the Elm Street and the dream sequences. He's kind of the master of that. And it's worth, I think, even multiple viewings, maybe not back to back, but it's one that should be in every horror lover's filmography of films they've watched, and no better time to do it now than the spooky season. So we'll give it 4 stars, final rating. Definitely watch it.
Thank you. Hey there, folks. It's Dan. I'm here at the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. I'm going to have to go ahead and give this movie 3 stars with a heart. To be honest, I feel like I'm almost at a 2.5, but I'm going to give it a 3 to give old Wes Craven the benefit of the doubt. I'll give it the heart because I want to rewatch this movie. Things I like about this movie. I love the title sequence with the Global Village coffee house-esque font. It's very fun. Looks like I'm about to get a really awesome macchiato. I like the vibe of the movie. I think, again, guy going, there's no phones, there's no cell phones, there's no technology. You're stranded out here in Haiti, and this warlord fucking hates you and wants to drive a fucking nail through your ball sack. I think all that stuff's really good. The bad, unfortunately, I think it really starts to outweigh the good at a certain point for me. And the stuff I don't like is the pacing. Honestly, the writing is a little boring. It just wasn't very engaging. And the stuff that was engaging would be cool, and then I'd be like, oh, now it's boring again. Oh, now the timeline's all over the place. I have no idea what's going on because I looked down for 5 seconds. There's a lot of issues you can see with the editing and how they put this thing together. I think this needed more time to cook, and it's a studio picture. It's the late 80s. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on Wes Craven. But it's not bad. It's one I would revisit for sure. Hopefully on my second viewing, I won't view it as funny as I did this time, because some of the shit I'd just be like, what the fuck is going on? Like at the end, I was just like, this is like an absurd horror, campy horror movie. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. Or Joey liked it more than either of us. So I'm glad you did. And I hope to like it more in the future. Thank you. All right. This is the part of the show where I usually play a sample, but we don't have that sample this week, okay? We don't got it. All we got is this one. Yo. What are we going to watch this week? What are we going to watch this week? We're going to figure it out right now.
Don't check your dial, folks. You didn't tune into Transylvania's public access station. No, sir. Tonight is Halloween.
Halloween is Satan's night.
We're going to be watching WNUF Halloween Special from 2013.
Yeah!
It's a favorite of mine. I won't be on this podcast. I'll hopefully be alive in Florida at Horror Nights. But
we'll miss you, buddy.
If you haven't seen it, this one is a great. I guess we would put it in the found footage genre, but those guys have put out quite a bit of good stuff. I think WNF has a sequel, and it also has another. What is it? You Can't Believe What You're Watching, or something like that. But Chris and Martina. The Halloween mixtape, What Happens Will Scare You Next, that's the name of it. Call Girl to Cthulhu. All those are fun if you like this style. I wish I would be on here to talk about it because it's amazing, but I won't spoil anything.
What we'll do is we're going to have Joey record his segment ahead of time, and we'll play it next week, folks. I'm putting that pressure on him.
I'll do it. I'll write a love letter.
You'll hear Joey's thoughts on WNUF next week. This is one of my favorite movies, so I'm gonna watch this month anyway. To be honest, I guess a good question to go out on, folks, guys. The Golden Triangle.
Yes.
What are some essential Halloween movies you gotta watch every year? Give me 5. We'll start with Joey.
Well, for me, essential ones, for sure, the first Halloween is always one I'm gonna put on. Probably once or twice, just even if it's in the background. The name in itself. It's one of my favorite movies in general of all time. I have a Michael Myers mask right above me on my bookshelf. I just love that movie a ton. As far as other ones, actually, this would probably be one. WNUF. Won't spoil that. Won't go into that. Blair Witch is probably one I like to try to hit every Halloween. That varies for a lot of people. I think the younger you are, the less you're going to enjoy that. But it's also another one that is great to be coupled with the faux documentary, which I think is just called Curse of the Blair Witch, which you can find out there. I believe it's on Tubi. Those are great to pair together. Watch the faux doc first and then watch the movie if you haven't seen either one, or just because.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's see. And then some others. I can't really think of anything that I'm always going to put on. But usually you're going to get the standard of Jason or a Freddy in there. No doubt. Something that is whatever the flavor of the month may be. Like last year, I think it was Late Night with the Devil that came out right around Halloween that I watched. But yeah, I mean, those are the big ones. I'll watch a Halloween. I'll probably watch like Blair Witch. WNUF's another good one. And as far as anything else, I can't think of anything that has to be watched. But I like to go back and watch also like some episodes of like, say, Roseanne from back in the day. I always loved those. I am a nerd, so I'll go back and watch just Halloween commercials and things like that, and things to get me in the mood. Leave it on in the background. But
yeah, are there like compilations on YouTube of just like old Halloween ads? Yeah,
and I'll just put those on, and like I've been guilty enough of just sitting and drinking and watching those for a couple hours like a loser. But they're fun if you grew up, it's fun to go back and relive that aura, because Halloween has changed so much. I mean, it's almost as much for adults now as it is for kids, since our generation has grown up, and now trunk or treat is taking over everything, and everybody's scared to go door to door, and nobody wants to buy candy, and you don't want to let your kids walk around their own neighborhood because, you don't know the neighbors because nobody talks to anybody. I mean, that's not always the case wherever you're at, but, it's a different vibe than what it was when I was growing up. So I don't know. I try to reconnect with that. I miss having a cable for the fact of having like AMC Fear Fest on in the background the whole month. But at the same time, I don't want to pay $100 for that. So it is what it is.
No, you could put your own little mix together.
Yeah, I should. I should create a Plex playlist and shuffle it or something.
On Plex, I can even add like little trailers and stuff before movies. I could put little like fun things before you watch anything.
Yeah.
Once I get a new computer, folks, my Plex server that none of you have access to will be amazing.
Only the elite, the Golden Triangle.
That's true. It is a Golden Triangle exclusive. Now, Adam. What do you watch on Halloween? What are your handful of picks people got to be watching on Halloween?
Man, my handful of picks. The awful thing is that if I were to list out some of the movies, it would be like Ernest Scared Stupid for me, that's just a great Halloween pick right there.
That's a great pick, yes.
I love that Halloween Town. That's a joke. I've never seen that movie, actually. Dan, I don't have a lot of... it makes me feel like I'm the odd man out. I don't have a lot of spooky movies I watch every year during the spooky season.
Adam's not very spooky. You're not a very spooky person.
I get scared. Honestly, it's because I get scared. I get scared too easily.
Yeah, he's scared. He's a scared guy.
My wife was gone in Indiana for a week, and I had... I had to just drink a little every night because I was like, I am getting scared. I need to numb this shit because it's like, it used to be, I would imagine, Chucky from Child's Play, being right outside my shower. And while I still do sometimes think that, now it's just transformed into, I have a home intruder. I need to clear this house with a gun before I go to bed. So.
Someone's trying to drive a nail through my ball sack.
Yeah, my ball sack needs to be nailless. Oh, and Casper. Let me just say that real quick. That's another one of my favorite.
Bill Pullman?
Spooky. Yeah, Bill Pullman. There you go. Yeah, I should not be allowed on this show. I'm horrible.
Well, obviously, WNUF is one of mine.
I was going to say, let me make a minute real quick. I always do try to at least watch a couple very old ones, whether that's like, the old Dracula or a Jekyll and Hyde or Frankenstein. Something from the black and white era, the Universal Monsters era. I don't know which one I'll do this year. I might do the Spanish Dracula because I have not actually seen that, which is supposed to be, some people say, superior to the Bela Lugosi Dracula. So.
Wow. I like Hocus Pocus. I like Halloween Town. Those are pretty fun. I mean, the problem is for me, folks, is I watch horror all year round. But in particular, you know, like Halloween, like even Halloween 4, I like to throw on once a year. I never like it, but I like the opening of it. So like those movies, yes. WNUF 1 and 2. That's pretty much it for me. As long as I watch WNUF during the year, I'm happy. This year in particular, I want to watch Noroi. What is that called?
I say Noroi.
I want to watch Noroi. Maybe we'll cover it on the podcast, folks. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But I want to watch that, and then I want to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I want to watch that with my girlfriend this month. Anyway, that's it. I hope everyone has a great Halloween season. It's still like fucking 100 degrees in Arizona. Life as we know it is soon going to end. Do you guys have any thoughtful thoughts, meaningful messages to get across to our audience before we head out?
Well, it's 87 degrees in Kentucky today, which is not great for October. We should be in the 70s for sure at this point. I don't know. I think just enjoy some movies. You know, like you say, Dan, I watch horror movies a lot year round as well. So like sometimes I get almost like overburdened because everybody's like, oh, movie a day, or I'm going to do the list where I watch something from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm going to watch an exploitation movie. I'm going to watch a zombie movie, a werewolf movie, you know, blah, 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 for 30 days. And I can't just make that commitment. Like I should, but I'm not going to. I like to watch football too, and it's football season. So just enjoy the time because October will be gone before you know it.
This is the best time of the year.
Yes.
Check your candy. Don't get a razor blade in your mouth.